Hey guys, and here, and today I made some oopsies. Imagine something limited edition being based on the weaker version of that thing.
If you got a problem, just give me a ring. I'll fix it with my speed. You get the anti-hero guarantee, the one you can trust. With heavy talks in here, and heroes in the house, and we don't quit.
I want one of these 100 ME edition of these MSI cards because, well, it's green. Also, saying ME edition is kinda redundant since 100 ME stands for 100 million edition. So 100 million edition, celebrating 100 million Nvidia GPUs sold by MSI, and with close inspection, I have the GeForce GTX 960 Gaming LE 100 ME. So I have the limited edition 100 million edition. Other than being equipped with a rarity skin, it doesn't perform that much different than a regular 960 2GB. Yeah, I bought this thinking it was a 4GB card. Oops, my bad for thinking that the limited edition was the better card. So let's get into the specs of this thing real quick. This card launched in January 2015, making this card nearly 10 years old in a few months at the time of this video. It has a base clock of 1152 MHz with a boost clock of 1216 MHz with a memory clock of 1753 MHz on a 128 memory bit bus. As mentioned earlier, this limited edition only comes with 2 gigs of GDDR5 VRAM. But hey, if you want to check a 4 gig version of this card, check out one of my previous videos up here. Sorry, no up here fans this time, but you can check out some Amazon affiliate links down below to shop for some good budget fans from up here. Anyways, the TDP of this card is 120 watts. Honestly, it doesn't perform too much more than a 950, but needs 30 more watts. Also, Nvidia suggests a 300 watt power supply. Just make sure it has the right pins for it. It is a green version of MSI's twin Frozer cards from this generation. It's got a beefy heatsink with plenty of heat pipes. The fans are also pretty big from what you typically get on GPUs. Also, the MSI logo has a nice green lining to go with the overall aesthetic. Also, the dragon on the backplate is sick as heck. It's that time again. Say hello to Haswell again. Except I did something a little bit different. I went with a Xeon this time. The E3-1230 V3 is a 4-core and 8-thread CPU, basically making this an i7 but as a much more affordable price. Typically you can get these for under $20. Anyway, launched June 2013 with an MSRP of $250, which isn't that bad for the time in all honesty. Specs just ever so slightly before specs just ever so slightly below the likes of the standard i7 4770. It has a frequency of 3.3 GHz with a boost clock of 3.7 GHz with a TDP of 80 watts, a whole 4 watts lower than the 4770. So typically, I don't go into detail about the motherboard, but this motherboard is so overkill for this PC, I have to mention it. Honestly, I didn't realize this was a Z87 motherboard since, well, there wasn't really any branding for it on the box. Dr. Debug LEDs, onboard power button, and CMOS buttons. Plenty of heat sinks and power delivery on this bad boy. Also, the best part, it's got green on it. They don't make motherboards with a color scheme anymore. It's all black, white, and steel these days. It has a little line of green LED near the bottom left. It just comes in green, no other color, just green. Since this is a Z87 motherboard, I could have gone with a 4770K, but those are all still $40+, and I didn't feel like spending more than $20 for a CPU. So, right off the bat, I paid extra for aesthetics. I wouldn't normally pay more than $25 for a GTX 960 2GB. The PSU cable extensions are not necessary for the build. If we want to cut a bit more, I used a cheaper case, such as the Sama S88 BK Black ATX Mid Tower, which is typically around the $40 range. So, if I adjust the price, the ideal price for something like this would be under $200. Really quick, we'll go over the synthetic benchmarks. For Cinebench R23, the multi-score is 3,907, the single score is 891. For 3D Mark, Firestrike is 6,565, TimeSpy gets 2,440, and Steel Nomad gets 162. And real quick PC Mark, 4,250. Before we get to the gaming benchmarks, you might notice the Riva tuner overlay says 964GB for a good chunk of the games. That was before I realized it was a 2GB card. Hey guys, before we start the video, I need to make some money, and with that said, check out Poggers at poggerslifestyle.com, a fun brand featuring everyone's favorite Pepe Frog, offering worldwide shipping and is family ran and operated. You can get their flavors for energy or simply just hydration from things like watermelon, mango, and raspberry, or even that American classic Rocket Pop. Yes, just like the popsicle. They also include a few options to help sleep. Hopefully they bring back a personal favorite flavor of mine, Cream Dream. It's orange, guys. Don't make it weird. You can also get Poggers brand shakers and even bundled deals at a great price. Anyway, use my affiliate link down below or use code POGHERO at checkout to save 10% off your order. So live that Poggers lifestyle. So let's get on with the video. Warzone without upscaling sticks around the 30 FPS range, and that's fine for casual gaming in my opinion. But if you need a bit more, you can set it to balanced FSR2, and you'll be getting much closer to those 60s everyone likes. And honestly, for Warzone, FSR2 looks good. You gotta hand it to CD Projekt Red for continuing to update Cyberpunk with the newest technologies, such as FSR3. And with it set to balance, you can get some reasonable FPS, just like always. Mhiha, ha. You gotta hand it to CD Projekt Red for continuing to update Cyberpunk with the newest technologies, such as FSR3. And with it set to balance, you get some reasonable FPS, just like always, mind the typical upscaling fuzziness. I put Final Fantasy XVI here as an example of a new AAA release and how this system isn't made for it. Even if I drop down to 720p with FSR3 at ultra performance, the best of times you can get something like 20 FPS. So, first off, I'm surprised low on God of War looks as decent as it is. Anyway, for the most part it has a 30 FPS average, what I call a last gen experience. However, during cutscenes, it does drop from 30s more often than not. So if we add a little bit of quality FSR, it usually stays within the 30s. A quick note on Resident Evil, I suggest turning quality FSR on as it helps smooth things out in my opinion. I'm using the Black Myth benchmarking tool, which honestly more games should do. Now of course this is abysmal, but with upscaling, this proves that upscaling is a blessing to older hardware. Now to only destroy quality and not outright obliterate it, I set it down to 720p, 80% FSR with frame generation on, and well, I think it becomes satisfactory. Conclusion? It's pretty to look at. I paid too much for aesthetics. This PC is more suited for esports and other easy to run free titles. It has no problems running older titles as well. If you're looking to save money, just buy a standard version of this GPU. The Xeon, on the other hand, performed really well. It still has a lot to give, and the other clear bottleneck was the GTX 960. If only this card was the 4GB, maybe we could have had a little bit higher textures. Maybe down the line I'll revisit the Xeon because I can find these cheap, and they have most of the modern instructions that are needed to run many modern games and programs. Anyway, let me know if you have used any of these parts before and how well they served you. I'm Hero, something of a virtual YouTuber myself. Thumbs up if you like it, and thumbs down if you don't like it, or just hate me. Subscribe for more, or if you're just masochistic, see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey there, thanks for watching the video. If you really liked the video, consider checking out my Amazon affiliate links down below.
That platinum chain with them diamonds in it. Where'd you get that Magnum Benz with them windows tinted? Who them girls you be with when you be riding through? Man, I ain't got nothing to prove.